guys, what's up? It's Alicia, and for today's video I'm going to be starting a new series. I used to do this a couple of years ago where I talked about basically how to use a lot of the most popular apps I use on my channel and go through all the features and stuff. So today I want to bring that series back and kind of do this weekly for you guys to show you how to use some of my favorite apps. So for this week I'm going to be showing you guys how to use CapCut Pro and pretty much the basics of it and how to edit an entire video in CapCut Pro. So without further ado, I guess let's just get started with this tutorial. Okay, so when you go into the app, you're going to see at the top here there's a plus button, and that's pretty much to create a new movie. There's edit over here, and when you click on that, you could just delete old movies that you have, as you can see. And then there's an information button, and you click that and it will help you figure out the app if you have any questions about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go make a new movie. So you're going to go to this plus button here and create a new movie, and you can title it. So I'm just going to title it tutorial and click create. As you guys can see, there are a ton of different options here. So you could have the video in HD, SD, or a square. This is really useful for Instagram videos. This isn't that good for YouTube videos because it's not the right size, but if you need it for, like, you can make an Instagram video, I guess. But HD is what we're going to want to go for since this is the best quality. Then you're going to want to make sure it's in landscape. That just means it's horizontal or hot dog, I guess, and portrait is like the hamburger way, I guess. And then you could choose a background color. So if you're doing like an edit or something, you can make it white or whatever. And then frame rate is like how smooth it is. I would do 30 frames per second since that's like the best quality and the most smooth. And then if there's a specific image in your movie that you want, you could add a fixed cover image. So now once you have all your settings figured out, you just go to the top and press done, and it's going to open your editing window. As you guys can see, this is what it looks like. So up here, this is your undo button. This is your settings button to go back to that menu that we were at before. This is to share it, and then this is to play it. So over here, you guys are going to see that this is where all of your photos, videos, and music and stuff are going to show up, and then this is your playing window. So what we're going to want to do first is I'm going to add a movie so that we can edit it. So you're going to click on the plus. So as you guys can see in this menu, you can cancel this and go back and choose a different video. You could press play, and that's just going to show you what the video is. There's an audio only button, meaning you take only the audio from the video. This is helpful when you're making music, and then choose which is just to put it in. So as you guys can see, it just shows up here like so. So you guys can also keep adding more layers on top of it. You can add photos, you can add text, you could draw over it, you can add music, and you can add voice. The text option, you have to download your own fonts, but I have a video on that that'll link it. Photo, it goes the same way and it's the same options as video. Self-draw is a tool I don't normally use and I don't really know how to use. Then there's also music, where you can add music that they already have, or music from your own phone, or file sharing. You just have to load that into here. Or the last option is voice, and that means you can voice record over this, obviously, and a menu will pop up and you can record. I just forgot to enable microphone for CapCut Pro. Anyway, so now what you're going to want to do to actually edit the video is you could double click on it, and a menu, it's going to pop up like this with this little white box, and you guys can see that your line here becomes a dot, meaning that we're editing this video right here. So first I'll show you guys how to cut it. So I'm going to go to the end of this clip, and down here you guys will see that there's this whole menu with options, and right here is the scissors button, and when you click that, it splits your two clips so that they're separate. Another option is you could duplicate the video if you'd want to, and that's just this first button here, but I'm just going to go ahead and undo that by clicking that button. You can also just trash the video, so I can just double click here or on the next video, split a piece out that I don't want, and delete it. Another option is there's this magic wand tool, and this is our transition button. So you click on that, and then you go to the plus button, and you guys can see that there are a bunch of different options. Like, there's already a bunch of them that are like created, but you could also make your own custom transition. I have a couple tutorials on this that I'll link for you guys. And if you don't want the transition, you'll see in that same menu that we clicked on, it now has a garbage can button. You just click on that and it deletes it. But if we wanted to add a transition, what we can do is click the plus and then choose our transition. So I'll go with a white bin. And you can change the length of dragging these blue arrows. So if you want it to be longer, or shorter, depending on how long you want the transition to go. You can play with that. You can also change opacity, you could change the color scheme of this transition. So basically there's a lot of different options for it. So now what we're going to do is volume. So if you want to change the volume, you just click on this button right here and you can change it louder or softer. So if you only want an image or you only want the video and not the audio, you can go ahead and do that. There's also opacity, so if you want to change the opacity or the transparency, you could just turn it all the way up and you guys will see it will blend in with the background. So you can use it as an option for color correcting, or maybe if you're making a specific like title and you need the background to be a little like lighter. Another option we have here with this timer button is how fast or slow it goes. One is the normal speed. When you drag it to the left, it goes slower, and when you drag it to the right, it goes faster. As you can see, it takes a while to process when you do this because you're editing a ton of video, but yeah. Alright, next option after that is cropping, so you click on that. And you guys will see that in your window it pops up like this, and you're able to resize it by just dragging. And when you press done, it will make those effects, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. You can also add different colors and such, and basically color correct. You can change the saturation, the brightness. You guys can see, you can change it all the way up. It looks really silly, but yeah, you can change a lot of different effects. Exposure, if your clip is too blue or too yellow, you can change it here. You can also, there's also like preloaded ones, like effects, so that's mono, meaning black and white, cold, which makes it really blue, warm, which makes it really yellow, and then literal full-on yellow. And yeah, so that's it for color correcting. There's also this option, you can add a border to your video. So when you pull on that, you guys can see that a border appears around it. This is kind of useful if you like branding your videos that way, because I know some people like to have the border around their main channel videos. There's also an option to round the corners. As you guys can see, you can make it look like this oval if you want to do that for an effect. Another thing is you can add a shadow to your video, so if you were to resize it and you do that by pinching and dragging, you can add a shadow to the corner and you can move it around with these options here. So I'm just going to fix that. Another option right here is to rotate. If you want to rotate it to the right, you can also rotate it to the left. And then over here, if you want to take a snapshot of a specific part of your video, say you want to use this screen cap for your thumbnail, there's this I button, so when you double click and press the I, it will screenshot it and save it to your camera roll. So those are all the options for QCut, and then pretty much the only other thing I didn't show you guys is when you double tap on it, you can resize it and rotate it. So the circles are to rotate and then the squares are to resize. And if you end up messing up like the aspect ratio, you could click maintain aspect ratio or restore to the default, and it will fix your image just how it was before. So that's pretty much all of the features and options, and when you finally want to go ahead and save it, just click up here, export to album, and you can click high quality and it will save it to your camera roll. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial and you learned a little bit about using QCut. This is the updated version for 2019. Also, a little bit about QCut. QCut Pro is $6 or $5.99 on the App Store, but I totally recommend it because it's such a good app to use for editing, and it's really the most advanced thing I'd say you can get for your phone. There is a free option, but I believe it can only be 30 seconds long, and you have a watermark, but you guys can just work around that, honestly, if you choose to. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.